Okay, and welcome back to Buzztorium here on campus of State University. We are getting ready for the 3-meter diving competition for men, and sitting next to me to my left is Josh Gonzalez, who has taken a dive or two in his days, right?
One or two.
Thanks for joining us to provide us some expert analysis here of the 3-meter diving competition. Josh, it's the second last event here.
And this is the best event, Joe.
Okay. I was about to get to that, but you read my mind. But when you're this late in an event, do divers feel extra pressure here? Because if it's a tight team race, the divers can certainly make a difference here.
Oh, absolutely. It really comes down to how the diver takes their mentality during this. When it was me, I always try to keep my mind clear regardless of what's going on around me and just focus on what I'm capable of doing. But there's plenty of other divers here, they're fully aware of what's going on, how high the tension can be, and some of these guys are looking pretty amped up right now.
Okay, Cleveland State, I believe, has one diver in the finals here. Oakland does not. I take that back. Cleveland State has one. Oakland has two divers.
You're right.
In the competition. So will Matt Akers here have to score as many points as possible here in this final?
Yeah, when we're looking from from the team aspect, it's pretty tough. Matt, if he wants to really make some effective points here, he needs to make sure he's hitting every single one of his dives. But at the same hand, Oakland has two divers in here, so Matt's only one man. He can only do so much as far as making up points goes.
Yeah, understand. Matt is one of two freshmen diving in the 3-meter competition. Is this a discipline that is better used by upperclassmen, or can a freshman learn this and do well in this competition, given the fact that last year when they were in high school they only did the 1-meter dive?
Yeah, so actually the majority of these kids, they've been diving club probably since they were just little kids, starting from 5-6 years old. So they've been diving 3-meter since they started diving. To me, the way I always looked at 3-meter is the higher you go really defines who the best divers are. It's easy to go ahead and chuck a whole bunch of big dives on low board, but when you get up to 3-meter, it's a lot more difficult. You have a lot more space, a lot more room for things to go wrong up there. You really have to be precise.
Yesterday we had the women's 1-meter, and it's like you dive and you're in the water already. Here you've got it's not like you have megaseconds, but you have a second or two here where you can do any adjustments, or if you make a mistake on your takeoff, can you make mistakes, or once you come off the board, it's kind of set in stone?
So, you do make a good point there. There is a little bit more wiggle room, but also let's keep in mind, you have these guys are doing front 2.5 on low board, but up here they're adding an additional flip. So it kind of equals out with those additional flips in the dive.
Do you have any favorites here? Are the divers who are leading the preliminary rounds automatically the favorite, or because you wipe the scores clean and you start over, the whole competition starts over?
To me, looking at the kid from Oakland, I think his name is Joe Smith. That kid's a stud. Honestly, it's almost as if he's competing in a different competition from some of these other guys. So I really think that the real competition is going to be for who comes in second today.
Okay, even though he finished second in the preliminaries, but is it just the point of, I got to get into the finals, so 1 through 8, wherever I finish is
I think
fine.
so. I think a lot of the divers just, during prelims, you just try to coast through, make sure you're making it into finals. During finals, you're going to see some magic happen.
Okay. We talked to the two young ladies that I've been on 2 days, both Tori and Casey.
Yep.
They say that even though they're a diver, they really feel part of the team. I'm going to ask you the same question. You're a diver. When swimming's going on, you're somewhere, you're doing something else? You're not in the pool with everybody else. Do you still feel part of the team, or do you feel like the extra point kicker in a football team who you're 50 yards away and you're kicking balls?
I can't speak for all the other teams, but during my time at CSU, we were a big family. Everyone's working their tail off to score points, and we're all working for the same goal of to win and just kick all the other teams' butts.
Okay. Now that you're at this level with two freshmen, six upperclassmen in that, the upperclassmen just, they kind of know what's going on now at this time. Will the freshmen, will this be a brand new experience? They may have been club, but when you've got a full house here, you got a lot of people looking and watching you. Do you think that may help them, hinder them, or?
Diving is always the sport of keeping your cool and having the right mentality, right? When you go into an actual meet, you need to make sure you're taking the same exact mentality as practice, because what you do in practice is what you want to compete. Once you start changing things, that's where you start getting some trouble and things get a little bit wonky, and you can end up messing some dives up.
When you were diving, I'm sure you saw these guys, meet after. You saw them in championship meets. You saw them in the dual meets. Do you watch them? Do you not watch them? Do you worry about only your own competition, you and your brain, so to speak, or do you watch the other 7 divers? Hey, this guy hit one. I gotta hit one and try to one up him, so to speak.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of divers do different things. Every single diver has their little routine that they go through. For me, I like to remove myself from the competition, and when I was only focusing on myself and what I can control, I dove a heck of a lot better. But some of these other guys, they may watch a guy do a good dive, and they may stand up and be like, all right, I'm pretty amped up. I'm going to show this guy up and tell him what's up here.
Okay. Everybody knows about, Joe Smith. And if you're one of the other 7, do you just say, well, he's first, I'm going for second, or, it's like, hell, he's human. He may, not land properly, maybe do a couple of dives with a lot of splash or that. Do you try to watch him or put him out of your mind?
Well, this is the 3-meter competition. This really is what separates the okay divers from the exceptional divers. But with that being said, anything can happen in this competition.
Okay.
Down on 1 meter, you can get away with a lot of funk and junk. Up here, there's less room for error up here.
Okay. The boards here at the Busby Natatorium, are these good? Are they the same?
They're actually brand new diving boards on the 3-meter. We just installed these over the past summer. So I got to break in these boards when I was diving for Master Spring Nationals here this past spring.
Pretty good?
Oh, they're excellent boards.
They're okay. Are diving boards different depending upon which natatorium you were in, or are they all about the same?
So they're the same to a certain extent. Clearly, you always want to dive on the newer boards because they're more grippy. The things that really affect diving besides the diving boards is going to be the lighting. You always want good lighting, so that way you can get clear visual cues while spinning. I say that because you use those visual cues to figure out where you're at in the board. We just saw a guy do a reverse 3.5. He's looking to spot the water 3 times. So if the lighting's not right, he's not going to be able to spot the water those 3 times during the flips.
Okay. As you continue to see the competition or the practice for the competition going on, when you come off the board and something's wrong, can you save it? Can you not save it? You just, maybe your arm is wide or your leg isn't in a proper position?
Oh, absolutely. It comes down to the more experienced diver. The experienced diver is going to know what to do in these different types of situations and scenarios. The more the rookie divers, they're more apt to mess up and, get nervous if they end up in the corner for board and feel like they had to chuck this dive super hard when And when in reality, the best way to go about it is just relax. You practice. You've done this dive hundreds of times. Your body knows what to do. Let your body take over.
Okay. With since you've been in the Horizon League competition before, is it, is it something you kind of adjust to here in the 3 meter? It's the one of the last events. Is it does that help to amp you up more to get this with a lot of people here? Sometimes divers don't don't have just folks and folks and folks watching them here, but does that the pressure of the moment, the crowd, and that just
This is by far the coolest meet for divers because during regular meets, a lot of the swimmers, they're going warming up for the other events, and they're not really occupied with a lot of the diving. But in this meet, you're going to see the teams fill the voids on the pool deck, and you're going to hear the teams getting so loud for their fellow teammates. It's definitely a very cool experience as a diver.
Okay. Well, the practice has completed, and I am not sure if they're going to lead the divers onto the pool deck like they have for the other events here. As we wait, it appears that the divers are gathering at the far end of the deck. Now, in the preliminaries, the gentlemen who did not reach the championship finals were Patrick Tenner from IUPUI. He finished 9th. Curtis Roden of Cleveland State was 10th. Joshua Yair from Green Bay was 11th. Draven Fustel of Milwaukee was 12th. Spencer Paranto from Milwaukee was 13th. Dakota Scanadore from Milwaukee was 14th. Ryan Murphy from UIC was 15th. And Derek Predot from Green Bay was in 16th place. And in the preliminary round from Cleveland State, Trevor Mahoney, another freshman, finished in 17th. As we hear Michael Buffer calling everybody. Michael Buffer isn't really here, but Michael Buffer calls the divers to get ready, and we're just about underway. Josh, do you like to do your hardest dive first? Do you like to start slow, do an easier dive? How did you like to do? What do you find that most divers like to do?
Most divers really want to start out their meet with an easy, steady dive. However, we do see Joe Smith doing probably what is still the hardest dive in the book as his first dive. I think the reason for that is he was warming up pretty consistently during warm-ups. He wants to get that dive done and out of the way while it's still fresh in his mind.
Okay. But everybody has a different strategy, right?
Absolutely. When I was diving, my strategy was I wanted to get all of my hurdle dives done and out of the way. So that way, I know I'm going to be comfortable with all my back-facing dives every single time.
All right. And you can hear the crowd coming to life here as the folks from UIC who are in front of us here like to stand, and there are the divers who are being introduced. And of course, Matt Akers from Cleveland State getting a big round of applause. And Josh, as you mentioned, the teams are gathering on the pool deck here to watch everybody. And we'll get started. Once again, this is a round of 6 dives. UIC. There is Mr. Smith. And we're just about ready to get started here. Everybody moves closer. Kind of neat to see all your teammates there, whether they are divers or not, and we're ready to get started here. Starting first is going to be Sean Scarry of Illinois Chicago. His degree of difficulty is 3.0, and that's kind of tough to start with, right?
Actually, we're going to see quite a few dives with the higher DDs ranging between 2.7 and 3.0. That's almost the status quo for the 3-meter men's competition.
Okay.
We got Sean doing a front 2.5 with a full twist. This is also known as the full out.
All right. Quiet now in the natatorium as the divers are ready to go here in the 3-meter competition.
Sean starts out with a great full out here. He set himself up really well. He was a little bit splashy on the bottom. That means he just didn't stretch out enough for that water to get a good pop on it. But he ended up getting pretty good scores here.
Yeah. 6s and 7s here, 58.5 for Sean. And next up is Christian Samagi from IUPUI.
Christian's doing an inward 2.5 pike. I've been watching Christian this whole entire week, and I think Christian has some of the best form out this whole entire competition. He looks great in the air. Oh, another great start here. That's a great dive. He let slide by just a hair, but he's still going to see very good scores on this.
And he gets all 7s, 7.5, 64.5.
Hey, starting out with 7 is always a great way to start.
And here is Matthew Akers from Cleveland State.
Yep,
2.8.
Matt's doing a 4.3.5. That was good. Matt actually was pushing out a hair too much on that takeoff, but he did a good job controlling the dive and a good job coming out. You can see he didn't get as high as scores such as 7s because he pushed out a little bit too much, but that was a good dive for him.
And Matthew with 47.6. This is Michael Clem from Green Bay.
You can see Mike did the same exact dive, however, it was a lot closer to the board and he's a lot more vertical. He's going to score better than Matt here.
51.8. He got a couple of 7s in there. So
that's a good dive right there.
Michael Clem moves into third.
We see
Andrew.
We see Andrew doing another full out here. Oh, that was pretty good. He was a little bit clunky in the diving board. You can hear the diving board rolling around. That means he didn't catch the board true.
And he's at 54. He moves into third place here. Next up is Jordan Smith.
So Jordan opted in to do a little bit easier of a dive than some of the other competition. He did a front 2.5 somersaults in the pike position. When you do these easier dives, you need to make sure that you're scoring as high as possible on it to keep up with the others.
He got 6 and 5s, and he only came up with a score of 43. Here's Joe Smith from.
Oh, that right there is probably still the hardest dive in the book right now, and Joe did a great job with that.
3.5 was the degree of difficulty, and he's got a score of over 60, 68.25, and he takes the early lead.
He didn't get 7s, but he got high enough scores, and it's such a high degree of difficulty where he came pretty close to getting 70 points in that dive.
Mitchell Masti from IUPUI. His degree of difficulty, 2.8.
That was a nice dive. Actually, everything about that dive was very good except the bottom. I don't see these divers really stretching for the bottoms.
Well, he got 60.2, and he moves himself into third place, and Joseph Smith has the early lead here after the first round. This is Sean Scarry from UIC. His degree of difficulty, 3.1.
Sean here is doing a 4.3.5 in the pike position. Oh, he actually handled that dive very well. You can see he didn't make it all the way to the end of the diving board.
Right.
And when you don't make it to the tip, you're leaving a lot of the board there, and you can't jump as high as you want to.
Well, he got 7s and 6s, has 118 points. Next up is Christian from IUPUI.
Christian's doing the same exact dive. Let's see if he can make it to the end of the board and jump a little bit higher. Oh, that was much, much better. And he even went into the water a lot more clean. He's going to get paid on this dive.
Okay. Yeah, 7s and 7.5, 69.75. And Christian now takes over first place. See if Matthew Akers has a better dive this time. He's up to a degree of difficulty 3.0.
And Matt actually had a rough go at this dive early this morning. Let's see if he can put this away. Oh, that's much, much, much better. He held it a little bit short, but that's much better than he did this morning.
And Matthew with scores of, well, 6s and 5s, 54 points.
If Matt can beat up that 6 card all night long, he's going to find himself in the top 3.
Okay. Michael Clem from Green Bay is next. 2.8 degree of difficulty.
So you can see here, Mike actually opted in for the lower DD. He had to hit that, however, he just slid right by.
Yeah, it looked like he was, I'm not sure if they're long or short, but it's one of the two.
Yep.
He comes up with 40 points.
Yeah, that one was long. I think he didn't catch his spots clear enough.
Well, Matthew Akers is in third. Here's Andrew from UIC. 3.1 degree of difficulty.
That's actually a pretty nice dive. The only thing about him that his diving I don't like too much is that he doesn't have very good form. You see his feet aren't as pointy as they could be. They're a little bit flat. He just doesn't look as pretty in the air as some of the other divers, but he's very strong.
6s and 5s there. Andrew now in a third place. Here comes Joseph Smith. Good height.
He does a very nice 3.5. Regardless, he pushed that out, but he still jumped through the moon on that dive.
Jordan Smith, we'll see what his scores are here. 7s and 6s, 15.5, 53.
And when you see guys jump that high, you just can't help but to be impressed by it.
Joseph Smith, Joe Smith now from Oakland.
Oh, he got a little bit too high on the top, and he kicked out a hair too late, so he ended up pulling that right over. He's going to regret that one.
Well, 4s and 5s. And Joseph Smith is in third place. Christian from IUPUI has a big lead so far, but it's only 2 rounds. Still plenty of time left to adjust.
There's a lot of big dives still coming up in this competition.
Michael Masty from IUPUI. 2.8 degree of difficulty.
Oh, once again, these guys they look a little bit amped up right now. They're jumping high, spinning fast, but they're just missing their spots. They're kicking late and going long.
Lots of 4s and 1-5. So after 2 rounds, it's Christian from IUPUI is in first place. Sean Scarry is in second, 16 points behind, 3.0 degree of difficulty. He's got to hit one here.
Oh, he just...
It looked too long.
Hey, that was bad coming off the takeoff. He started falling off the board. Once you fall off the board, you can't control what's happening in the air.
Yeah, we see 2s and 3s there. So that will cost Sean. I mean, he's in the lead, but you can see that that won't last very long. Here comes Christian. His degree of difficulty is 3.0.
Christian's doing another full out here. can see the little swing in the air. He was off balance during that hurdle, so that's part of the reason why he got thrown into the middle of the pool.
4s and 5s. Christian has the lead, but we'll see if everyone else can catch him. Here's Matt Akers from Cleveland State.
This is a big dive for Matt. If he can hit this, I think this can set him up for the rest of the competition. Oh, that was actually excellent. That was very good. Slid by just a hair, but Matt's going to be very happy about this.
Well, he got 6s and 5s, 54. And he's at 155.60, jumps up to second place. Michael Clem from Green Bay is next, 2.8.
Oh, that's another. That top was actually an excellent top for Michael. Once again, these guys are just missing their spots and going long, though.
Okay. And he picks up 50. Michael Clem is third. Matt Akers still in second. Andrew Lewarchek from UIC. His degree of difficulty, 3.0.
Andrew's doing a back 2.5 in the pike position.
Looked a little short to me.
Yeah, you know, he got really loose on that bottom, so that's part of the reason why the water just blew up around him.
He got 4s and 5s, 45.
Believe it or not, if he would have stayed tight through the bottom of that dive, he probably would have gotten higher scores.
Jordan Smith, degree of difficulty 2.8 from Oakland.
This is a reverse 2.5 in a tuck position. Oh, actually, that was a very nice dive, but at the last second, he just pulled and arched his back a little bit too much.
Looked like a lot of water at the end of that as well. He got 4s and 5s. And Matt Akers still hanging in there. He's in second spot. Here's Joe Smith. 3.0 degree of difficulty.
Wow. Joe just knows how to jump and tower over the board there. That's a great inward 2.5 pike.
7s and 6.5. And Joseph Smith is now tied for first place, 174.75 with Christian from UIC. And now this is Michael Masty from IUPUI, 2.9 degree of difficulty.
It's actually a really nice dive there from Mitchell. He did a great job of staying that up and getting the water.
Looking for the awards, 7s and a couple of 6.5s. And he moves into third place. Matthew Akers is fourth now as we start the fourth round here. And this is Sean Scarry once again from UIC. His degree of difficulty is 3.0.
That's not a bad attempt here from Sean. You know, I think he missed some of his visual cues and let it slide a little bit long, but that's pretty good dive, especially with that hurdle.
Well, he got 6s, 5.5 at 54. And you see he's first here in the fourth round. And now here's one of our leaders.
Christian's doing a back 2.5 in the pike position, and I've mentioned it before, but Christian has great form, especially when he's performing pike dives. Just look and see how compact he's going to get during this dive. Oh, that was a great press out that dive, too. That was an excellent dive. He should get paid on this.
Okay, we're waiting for the judges here.
That delay is always terrible.
7s and a couple of 6.5s.
That's great. That's a 63-point dive. That's good for him.
237.75. Here's Matt Akers, 2.7 degree of difficulty.
Matt's doing an inward 2.5 tuck. Oh, that was a great dive for Matt right there. He's going to be very happy with that dive. He could have been a little bit more clean on the bottom, but he set that up really well.
All right, 6s and 5s, 45-90. Matt with 201.50. Michael Clem from Green Bay, his degree of difficulty dive is 3.0.
Michael's doing the same exact dive as Matt, except in a pike position. You saw Michael break his position just here in the middle of that dive. Let's see if the judges caught on. Looks like a couple of them did there.
6s and 5.5s. Michael Clem at 193.80. Matt Akers is hanging on to second here. And Andrew Lewarchik from UIC.
Wow, that jumped up pretty high there. That was a good dive. He still only had to pull it down and through. You can see his legs came apart a little bit on the bottom.
Well, the judges saw that, 5s and 6s.
If he would have kept his form, that would have been a high-scoring dive for him.
Well, Andrew now a quarter of a point behind Matt Akers. Matt is in second. Jordan Smith from Oakland, 2.8.
We saw Jordan fall off the board as well here, and he kicked too early, so he let that dive short.
And we got all 5s and 5.5s. Here comes Joseph Smith now. See if Joseph has another big dive in him. 3.0 degree of difficulty.
I saw Joe warming this dive up earlier. It's pretty good. That's a great dive. It slid through just a hair, but that is still a very good dive. This kid jumps through the roof of this pool.
As we wait for the award, 1.7 and 6.5s. And Joseph Smith, with 2 more dives to go, is in second place. Here's Mitchell Masty, 2.8. Gets himself set.
Oh, that was a beautiful top here from Mitchell, but he just let the dive slide a little bit long. What's really noting about this competition is no one's really hit a dive for big scores yet.
No, 6 and 6.5s here.
Right now,
Masty at in third.
Right now, this competition's anyone's to take.
Once again, Sam Scarry. This is round 5 of 6.
That was a really pretty dive from Sean. You think he broke form just a hair. Let's see if the judges caught it, though.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
4.5 to 5.5, 40 points, 48 points rather.
And what's a shame is he didn't need to break form there.
Once again, this is Christian, who has the lead by just 4 points over Joe Smith from Oakland. His degree of difficulty is 3.0.
Christian's doing reverse 2.5 pike. You know, reverses are always the most difficult category for all divers. Oh, that was a nice dive there. He had a little bit of a flick on the bottom, which pulled him long, but he looks great in the air.
Christian, 61 now, 6s and 7s. That is a good dive. Christian at 299.25. Matt Akers from Cleveland State, 2.8 degree of difficulty.
I think this is Matt's first twister dive. It's a back 1.5 with 2.5 twist. Oh, that was great for Matt.
That looked pretty good.
That was excellent. I can't say a lot was wrong with that dive. You can see he got good scores.
Yes, he did. 7.5 from judge number 4. Matt Akers at 258.90.
Matt's in exactly a position where he wants to be at right now.
Michael Clem from Green Bay.
Oh, that was another good twister dive. I would say that's on par with the last dive that Matt just did.
Yeah, 7s and 6s. 57. Michael Clem at 2:51.20. Matt Akers at 2:58.30. This is Andrew Lowarchuk from UIC.
Andrew is such a strong kid. He's able to work that diving board to propel himself high in the air. That was a pretty good inward 2.5.
Now 6s and 7s. Andrew moves ahead of Matt Akers and into third. Here comes Jordan Smith from Oakland. 2.7 degree of difficulty.
Oh, he came out of that dive a little bit too early, and then he had to pike back over to get that in. He should have waited in that dive a hair longer and let the dive develop.
Yeah, you see 4s and 5s.
I think that's just a little bit of nerves right there.
Well, Joe Smith, 3.4 degree of difficulty.
This is another big dive. It's a front 2.5 with 2 twists. Oh, he just makes that look easy right there.
That was, yes.
This kid jumps so high, and it gives him so much extra time to do as many flips and twists as he wants.
Waiting for the award. 7s and 6s, 66.3.
Wow.
And he has the lead by 0.3 of a point.
What a tight competition right now. This is a lot of fun.
Michael Masti, his degree of difficulty is 2.8 from IUPUI.
That was a pretty nice 4.3.5. A little bit splashy on the bottom. If he would have stretched a little bit more, he would see some higher scores.
He got 7s and 6s. So Masti is in third place. Final round here. Josh with 0.3 of a point separating. Does your strategy change here or not if you're Christian or Joe Smith?
No, right now you just want to focus yourself, relax yourself, and just try to do as best you can with this final dive.
Sean Scarry, his final dive.
I think that was Sean's best dive of the night. That was a great reverse 2.5 twister.
And he is going to move into first place in this beginning round only because he is the first diver. Here comes Christian.
So
big pressure here.
I imagine he's trying to focus and just censor his nerves right now. This is probably the biggest dive of his career up to this point. Oh, the dive fell off just a hair more than what I would want to see, but he still was able to put that dive down in a way.
See what the dives are, 6s and 7s. He has 356.65 points.
Let's see what Joe has later.
Matt Akers from Cleveland State. Degree of difficulty, 2.9.
Matt's doing reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twists. Oh, that was actually a very good dive right there, Matt. His feet were a little bit flat while piking that dive down, but it looks great in the air. That's the only thing I can cut down on him about.
3:15, 45, 6s and 7s in that dive for Matt. Here comes Michael Clem.
Let's see if Matt can stay in top 3 here.
Looked like this.
Oh, that was an even better dive than the previous one Matt did.
Michael Clem. We'll see his scores here. He got 7s and 6s.
Yep.
And Michael Clem is going to be just short of Matt Akers. Here comes Andrew Lowarchuk from UIC. 2.7.
Andrew's doing a back 2.5 with a half twist. Andrew is such a strong diver. He's able to jump very high. That's it. That's why he was able to add an extra flip onto that dive.
6s and 5s. But Matt Akers still ahead here, and he's in second. Here comes Jordan Smith, and next will be Joe Smith. Jordan Smith's degree of difficulty 3.0.
This is another full out. It's a good dive. He held it a hair short, and he's actually jumping away from the board a little bit too much.
54. And Jordan Smith. Matt Akers still in third here for Cleveland State. And here's the dive of the meet.
Oh, he slid by just a hair there. This is going to be interesting to see who ends up winning.
He has a 0.3 of a point advantage.
Wow.
And he comes up short.
Yep, he just pushed a little bit too far away on the diving board and let that go a little bit too over.
So Christian from IUPUI, barring a perfect 10 here, from Mitchell Masty, will be your winner.
That was actually a very, very pretty inward 2.5. Mitchell's a very, very good diver, and he looks great in the air.
And he moves ahead of Matt Akers.
Oh, he just snaked that away from Matt, but that was a well-deserved place for him. All these divers dove their butts off.
Well, your winner is Christian Samhege from IUPUI. Wrap up